Welcome, race fans, to another exciting night, Wednesday night for the Elite Racing Network. I am Alex and Rish here, soon to be joined in the booth by Rish. We have an exciting one for you tonight because tonight is going to solidify perhaps one driver's chance of making it into the Final Four. Yes, playoffs, round number 2 about to be underway virtually in Sin City. You see the cars beginning to grid to the right of your screen. You're just moments away from dropping the green flag here virtually at Las Vegas Speedway. So glad you could join us here tonight for the Memory Lanes 200. And with that, I'll bring in my great commentator and newly graduate, Rashab. Rashab, congratulations there. Want to give you a chance want to give you your props because graduating, especially while doing this, is not easy, and yet you were able to do it. So congratulations there, man. So happy for you.
I appreciate it, Alex. Yeah, great to be out of that stage of my life and now moving on to potentially being even busier. But I think I'm going to look forward to at least the summertime and not working for a few weeks here and getting to focus here on of course the great racing we have in the elite racing leagues. And yeah, like you said, round 2 kicks off tonight. One of these chase drivers could potentially lock themselves into that championship finale at Iowa. Looking forward to seeing how this plays out. We're back to kind of our standard 1.5 mile track that guys are more used to. We're more used to seeing drivers race on these as well. So, a lot to look forward to. Very similar to, very different, I think, from actually round 1, where you had kind of 3 almost wild card type racetracks.
We really did there. And as you take a look at the starting order at the beginning of your screen, you can see cars about to get underway, already taken to the high banks of Las Vegas Speedway. This is a unique 1.5 mile racetrack. The banking here about 24 degrees here, turns 1 and turn 2. You will see these guys. I saw them flirting with that high line, extremely high lane here in practice, and then some of the qualifying that we were able to catch as well. Chad Frankenfield still in search of that first win, and tonight, if he gets that done, he's going to lock himself inside the Final Four at Iowa in just 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, for sure. Look out for that 15 car again. He's been crazy fast at a lot of these types of racetracks. Hasn't quite been able to be, whether it's consistency or luck, just hasn't quite been able to put together that result. But it could come tonight when it matters the most. We've seen this before as well from that 15 car. His most recent championship in the Cup Series feels like a long time ago now, but I think it was only about a year or year and a half ago, depending on the number of seasons. Came into the chase, not too many wins, but put it there, got it done when it needed to get done, and went on to win that championship. But let's find out here tonight as these cars head towards that green flag.
Round number 2 about to be under the green flag. Chad Frankenfield leads them down across the stripe, and we are racing at Las Vegas. They're double wide behind Chad as he flew off already into turn number 1. You see the outside pole setter there. That would be Shane Therian doing a great job hanging on to that second spot. And how about Johnny Thomas, last year's Daytona 500 champion there, having a great qualifying effort. He's in 3rd, but he's under pressure from the 90th Scott Crump underneath him.
Absolutely. Johnny Thomas having kind of a late season resurgence here, kind of doing really well in qualifying, kind of finding his footing here again after what's been admittedly a quiet season following, of course, the greatness that he kind of had last season. A little bit quieter this time around, but he's kind of finding that pace again and looking competitive right now, battling for that 3rd position right now on the outside of Scott Crump, another driver who's been so close to victory lane on a number of occasions, but hasn't quite been able to get there, Scott Crump. So remember, Crump and Frankenfield as well, teammates, kind of prevented each other from grabbing that win last week at Talladega. We'll see how they work together tonight. One of those White Lightning Ford Mustangs is going to want to make it to victory lane before the end of this one. But Chad Frankenfield leads Shane Terry and leads Johnny Thomas, still holding on that outside.
Yes, he's doing a great job there. That outside line proving quite to be beneficial here early in this one, as Scott Crump still has not been able to complete the pass since the drop of the green flag just behind these guys battling there for 3rd. You see the 48 car, Nick Massey there, didn't make a whole lot of noise after in round 1 after pretty much destroying the competition all throughout the regular season, but now money is on the line here and you're looking at a shot to solidify yourself inside that round 4. Look for that 48 car to be a factor at the end of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Massey, he's kind of been the guy who, as we have our caution come out for the first time tonight, take a look and see what happened there. We'll head to the Whiskey Cast replay.
This is the first caution we've had in 336 hours, folks. That's over 2 weeks, and I do mean that quite literally. Yes, we did not have a yellow flag at all last week at Talladega. You have to go all the way back to lap 27 at Suzuka as we see the 94 Kendall Noah player get loose and into the outside wall hard in turn 2. The field able to get around him. Oh, another competitor sliding in turn 2. Don't know if he had more contact with the barrier toward the inside as well, but Kendall Noah player was an odd incident that took out himself in turn 1.
Yeah, let's take a look here at the onboard. It looks like the car just kind of snapped loose and it went up high. So here you go on that top lane. There you see the counters to big time. And just a little bit of an overcorrection almost up into the outside wall. And again, great job by everybody else around him to avoid that incident. Looks like nobody got spun around or nobody even collected that 94 car. So one car spin, one car incident there. I'm sure that's going to be a tally, and there it is from race control. 94 car with that, and yeah, not the great start he was hoping for. But we guys will regroup here, and we'll get back to green flag racing here relatively soon. Of course, just 4 laps of green flag running complete. I'd be shocked to see anybody go slightly off strategy with taking fuel here to try and extend something. Admittedly, though, I don't really know what that fuel window looks like, so not sure if we're in any position right now where you can kind of stretch a fuel run.
And we talked about how this round maybe a little bit less pressure for these drivers as far as the unknown than what we saw during the last round here, but let's not negate the fact that this is still a tricky track here. We saw that in real life, the Coca-Cola 600, NASCAR's longest race ever last Sunday there, where these next-gen cars just had terrible footing. We had a car turn over in one of the most bizarre incidents I have ever seen personally in my life here with this next-gen car. So virtually, I can guarantee you with how iRacing is, these guys have a handful so far. It doesn't matter if the steering wheel is real or not. These guys are going to be on it, seesawing it throughout the day.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We talk about this being kind of one of your cookie-cutter type racetracks, right? It's one that they're very familiar with. But realistically, we've actually only visited one 1.5-mile racetrack so far this season. That was at Charlotte for our World 600. Ethan Burrell ended up taking the checkered flag home for that one. But, this isn't a type of track that we really try to race on too much here in the Elite Racing Leagues. They do a good job at kind of getting that variety in these racetracks. So we've been to the 2.5-mile tracks. We've been to the 2-mile tracks. We're going to go to another one, Auto Club, just next week. Those short tracks as well. Martinsville, we have Bristol coming up in 2 weeks' time. And then you kind of have the funky tracks, right? You've got Twin Ring, Motegi, Nashville, kind of those between 1.5 and 1 mile racetracks. So we've kind of hit everything except these cookie cutter type racetracks, and they've done a good job at skipping that. So this could even be a little bit of a unknown realm for these drivers here because we've only done this type of race once before this season.
With that bizarre incident already unfolding for the 94 Kendall Noah player, you have to wonder, will it take any more of our competitors by surprise that are perhaps up front? Something we will be keeping an eye on here throughout. But working caution number 1 here, lap 7 of 134 in the books. We believe they will have 3 sets of tires. That's usually been the norm for these guys. Fuel window, I've been able to look up. It's between 60 and 70 laps. So these guys will have to pit at least once under the green flag if we reach that end. But for right now, pit road remains open, but no takers as we expect to double it up. And then good back to racing here next time by.
Yeah, so now guys have kind of gotten a feel for the racetrack. They've gotten a feel for their race cars and the guys they're around on the track. So now do we potentially start seeing, how does Terrian now respond to Chad Frankenfield? Because on that initial start, Frankenfield got a fantastic start, kind of separated himself away from the rest of the pack. So did Terrian. And it was kind of Scott Crump and Johnny Thomas who were then the two battling it out for third position like we were talking about. But a decent spread in the field there early on. I wonder if that's going to change throughout the race or if we're going to start to see that a little bit more at a track like this. Not kind of that double wide, very close pack style racing that they were looking for on these 1.5 mile tracks, but more of a traditional style of intermediate track racing.
We'll see what happens there. I believe the 83 perhaps was just caught sleeping a little bit. Chad very determined to get out and away in clean air. And that has proved to be very beneficial throughout the entire season here. Getting clean air on the nose of these next-gen cars. Scott Crump and Johnny Thomas going to be behind these guys, Nick Massey and then Joshua Adams. If you take a look at the ticker on top of your screen, you will notice our chase contenders there, or playoff contenders, excuse me, are in orange. Those will be able to denote who is inside the championship picture and could perhaps lock themselves in to the round of 4 championship round later on. Green flag is back out. Chad Frankenfield back on the loud pedal. We turn back under the green flag. 83 there, still not keeping tempo there. He'll back up into the clutches of the 91 of Johnny Thomas and Scott Crump, who have now switched lanes. We see Scott Crump now on the outside. The 91 car there had him pinned there before that yellow flag. Now, Scott Crump will take that 3rd place, and he'll bring along Nick Massey as well.
Yeah, a little bit loose, I think, off of turn number 2 for the 91 of Johnny Thomas, and that's going to lose some momentum there. But yeah, very early kind of taking the green flag there. As soon as the pace car goes off, that 15 car hits the loud pedal. So again, yeah, like you said, pace carrying the car. Sometimes drivers like to run it a little bit longer. Sometimes drivers go immediately. Frankenfield today so far have been going immediately after the pace car goes down pit road. But here we go. We've got some good swapping and good battling going on right here. Johnny Thomas on the outside once again. Tyler Fody on the inside. Josh Adams and Andrew Rucker in there. So Fody and Adams both are chasers, are still in the chase. Nick Massey ahead of them as well, another one of our chasers. The others around them so far not going for that championship there, but obviously going for individual results to finish off these last 4 races this season.
See things beginning to single file themselves out among this gaggle of cars. That's about 3rd place on back underneath the blanket. Here comes Tyler Fody, though. He'll take a look to the inside of Johnny Thomas, trying to make that inside line work as we get double digits on the board, working lap 11, now 12, as they flash across the stripe. The 95 there, Joshua Adams, and the 64 of Andrew Rucker trying to display spoiler in front of these chasers. As contact, Tyler Fody and the 91 get into it, and Tyler Fody hangs on. Wow, he had to save it not once but twice in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, incredible save there by Tyler Fody, and there's a reason he's been thereabouts as the championship leader. Obviously, chase points change things up, but this man is so consistent and gets the car home every single race, every single opportunity, and it's things like that that help him get there. Even if you do get caught up in an incident between yourself and another driver, the ability to hold on to the car there and still keep going at full speed. He didn't really lose that many positions. He lost, what, 2, maybe 3 positions and all of that? At a track like this, where you'd expect these guys to be very momentum-driven, you'd expect that 40 car to drop like a rock. Instead, he still sits inside the top 10 and is to head back and start attacking these guys in just a few laps.
What that saved, though, he'll have to take a chance to catch his breath there, I believe. As he settles into a rhythm there, the 91 car going to be the victor of that battle there. He settles in among the top 5. Andrew Rucker, and then how about that 19 of David Tooker as well. Tooker, who by the skin of his teeth made it in after finishing dead last at Talladega in a race where we did not see the yellow flag. Had that issue on the front bumper of Daniel Martinez, was being pushed. Unfortunately went around and then had no shot of getting caught back up. He was able to make it in there by, I believe, 1 or perhaps tying for that final spot.
Yeah, it was very close between him and teammate Matthew Weeks, who currently is running in 10th place. And for Weeks, you definitely feel bad for the driver of the 11 car there. It just didn't quite work out for him. But of course, still a lot to race for this season. Still going for wins, still going for opportunities to just build up points, build up momentum back again for next season when it comes to 2022B. For David Tooker, though, he of course is still in that fight, going for a championship here in the JoinAPS Cup Series. Though in front of him, 3 cars that aren't going for that championship either. That's Alexander Van de Sande, Andrew Rucker, and Johnny Thomas now drops to the bottom of that trio, and they're all right in front of David Tooker. So Tooker needs to be careful as he goes side by side with Tyler Fody. These guys need to be careful about, racing behind these guys who are not really giving each other too much room on the racetrack. The 64 and the 91 basically hitting doors there through 3 and 4. The guys who are in the chase running rest of these guys early on in these events.
Yeah, now you have to wonder if some of these guys that are outside of the chase bubble there know that and are perhaps trying to take advantage of that. However, with that said, you don't want to be the one guy that puts one of these chasers into a bind, catching them in your mess there. And so that's the unique spot we have as far as our sport versus the other stick and ball sports of America here, where just because you are out of the playoffs does not mean you are off the racetrack. These guys are still racing for everything here, some more than others, but that's what makes our sport more unique there versus everybody else there. And what I love about it is that these guys are going for the win no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys don't really care if you're trying to win a championship or anything else. They're just here to win their own race, play their own cards, do whatever they possibly can to build up their own momentum. Because again, they don't really care if you have a teammate. Maybe, just maybe, they'll give up some positions for you if you're in the chase. As David Tooker gets way low there and loses quite a few positions for one. But guys need to be just that little bit more cautious. Battle for the lead here between two of our chasers who are going for the championship. Shane Terrian now looking to the inside of Chad Frankenfield.
Yeah, how about the rookie there, putting a veteran move on the 15 of Chad Frankenfield, lead owner, under pressure and fire at the 83, using the low lane there, entering turn number 1. The 15, though, riding on the high side. It's been so hard to complete the pass on the low side. We really have not seen that bottom line work out for anybody, and that's exactly the lane that the 15 is keeping open for that 83 car, but he's under attack again in turn 3.
Yeah, Terrian doing a good job holding on the inside. I think that outside lane might just be a little bit stronger right now, or at least that middle lane on the racetrack. Terrian, though, doing a solid job, or Frankenfield as well, doing a fantastic job. These guys running side by side, though, is bringing Scott Crumb and Nick Massey into the picture here. But yeah, Terrian, another one of those drivers that you kind of look at and you're just like, how has he not won a race yet this season? There's a few of those, not just in this field, but in the chase still, in this final 9 drivers who have not visited Victory Road. It's been pretty crazy so far this season, and consistency has been the name of the game. Shane Terrian, one of those guys who's been uber consistent, and right now, though, he wants to change that. He wants to go for that race win, finally feel comfortable for the next 2 weeks, and know he's going to be locked into the championship finale, but he still has to clear that 15 car. Frankenfield putting on a fantastic defensive effort here.
And you saw a little bit of help from his teammate there, the 90. You have to wonder about that team conversation that normally happens on Monday. I believe it happened right after the race there on Wednesday night there between the 15 and the 90. We heard the frustration between Scott Crump. Did not get a chance to talk to Chad at the end of that race, but felt like perhaps they gave one away. But you have to wonder now, with the championship on the line, one of those team cars, that's the 90 car. Actually, as soon as I say that, he'll look to the inside of his teammate there and try and take around the battle, as the 83 car is now using the draft from the 90 car. He'll take the lead. Our first lead change of the day, give it to that 83 car there around the 15.
Yeah, maybe not everything was resolved there in that post-Talladega debrief between the 90 and the 15 car. 90 car very distinctly chose the 83's line to push him ahead, and right now, sitting side by side with the 15 is just going to give that 83 even more space, and it actually looks like Frankenfield might have just backed off a little bit there to allow Crump to go on by, and Frankenfield going to slot in, because I think he realized they were just going to lose time to Nick Massey, to Alexander Van de Sant behind, and to the rest of the field. So now they single file out once again, but it's Shane Terrian over Scott Crump. Chad Frankenfield, the span of just a couple of laps, loses that lead and down to 3rd.
Yeah, you see White Lightning Racing sandwiched in between those Sky Motorsport cars there. Ford Mustang's doing a great job there, keeping those bow ties behind them. In fact, Ford Mustang's occupying the first 4 spots. The first bow tie is Alexander Van de Sant, the 97 car, just behind him. He's no stranger to being involved in the Championship 4 picture, although he won't be in this picture this year, not having the run he would have liked there this season there, but the 97 car still trying to end his season on a high note. Each one of these cars, with the exception of Nick Massey, still looking for their first win of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of crazy to think about that. And you can go as far back as, I think, has Matthew Weeks been to victory lane this season? I've got to go back to earlier in the, yes, he has. He did that Pocono. Because I was going to say, the top 7, I think, except for Nick Massey, are yet to visit Victory Road. Very, very close racing there in 1-2 between Massey and Frankenfield. Again, both going after that championship, and for Frankenfield, that first win of the season.
when you look at our championship picture, there are drivers who you know should be in that Final Four. Nick Massey definitely is one of those, but that doesn't mean all is said and will be handed to him there. He's going to have to compete and fight against these guys that he's beaten all season long right now. He currently is going toe-to-toe with that 15 at Chad Frankenfield, who's beginning to lose a little bit of the drive of that race car there to the leaders up front. They've been up the road now by a good half second in front of the 15. Nick Massey now feeling the pressure from the 97 of Van de Sande, who's actually going to take that position there. He had a little bit of a bobble in turn 2, and then allowed that 97 car to flash on by.
Absolutely, yeah. 97 right now. Van de Sande looks to be one of the strongest cars, if not the strongest, in the field so far. Just making quick work of Nick Massey. Now quick work of Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield, I worry, has worn out the front tires on that 15 car, and actually just noticed it in that shot there. Not too sure if that's just our camera playing tricks on us, but is there even a little bit of damage to the front right of that 15 car as well? Is that hurting his cornering as well? And the closer we look here, we see if we can maybe even get that right front camera view of Frankenfield. There is some damage.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It looks like he perhaps has scuffed the wall there. This would be the NBC it, as they say. Great camera work there from our guys virtually, aka Dave. Doing a great job there, providing these pictures as we see the 95 actually go on by the 15. He was our pole setter, but some damage on the right side of that machine, and this is something that's been typical of Chad as of late. He's been had some great cars. Unfortunately, he's just not been able to keep the car clean, and that's really put him in a bind here. It looks like it's done it again early in this one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there for the 15. Not too sure if that happened before Tarian caught up and made that move for the lead, or if it was after going side by side with these guys. We appear to have missed that actual contact for the 15 car, but it's hurting him for sure right now, just way off the pace of these guys in front of him. And he does decide to dive to pit road, so an early pit stop maybe here for Chad Frankenfield. Going to try and play the strategy card, fix some of that damage, because I think that car is going to need some of that those repairs done, but risky move doing that under green flag conditions.
Yes, this is quite early. We're not even halfway into what I would expect to be a full fuel run here. Just lap 31 on the board there. These guys can make it between 60 and 70 laps before having to go down pit road. So some anxious people I would expect to be on pit road there if this was a real life. But just Chad is going to be feeling the anxiety of these guys, hoping that we don't have a yellow flag to pin him a lap down or more.
Yeah, so tough situation to start here for Chad Frankenfield. Again, your pole sitter there, just 32 laps into this, currently sits 38th on the racetrack as he does get back up to speed. Yeah, he's got some work to do. Again, right now sits as the lucky dog, so if we do get a caution, he might actually be saved by that as well. So not the worst case scenario there for the 15 car, but definitely not what he wanted this early in this particular chase round. Wanted to maybe build up a gap of points, since I believe he comes in here as well fairly close to that cut line. Look here and see, but Frankenfield I think right now just sits with 9 total chase points, and as it stands is actually tied with Tate Lytle on that cut line. So yeah, not a lot of room for error there for the 15 car or for anybody else in this chase fight. He's got some work to do to get back up the order, but we've seen him do it before, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him do it again.
Definitely down, but not out for that 15 car as we take a look of the 19 of David Tooker. This is a battle outside of the top 10. In fact, he just lost that position to Andrew Rucker in that 64 car. You see just behind him, how about last week's winner, Trevor Elam, doing a great job there in that 29 car.
Yeah, Elam as well, holding on in 12th position right now. Grabbing that breakthrough win, that was huge for him at Talladega to get that done. Again, he's been one of those guys that's kind of been knocking on the door of being a chase contender, of being a consistent top 10, top 5 driver. Just hasn't, again, quite been able to string together the results, and I think you can say that about a lot of drivers this season. It's been a very up and down season for a lot of different drivers. Elam, one of those, but I think a lot gained by grabbing that victory, of course, in Talladega, and a lot learned over the course of the season. Look out for that 29 next season, especially. continue to build on that consistency. I think he's going to be one of those guys who can make a run as he tries to make a run here on Andrew Rucker heading into turn number 1.
One of the guys trying to use the low lane to his advantage there, almost working up the racetrack there. The 64 will keep him pinned down, and he'll have the exit speed to his advantage. Jeff Green, though, thought briefly about making it 3 wide. Not going to work out for him. In fact, he'll lose a position to Tate Lytle in that 56 car. Tate Lytle comes in here winning the first race of every round. He dates back. Oh, trouble! One car spins. It's going to be the 64 of Andrew Rucker, who hangs on. Everybody has to get by. Wow!
Running in a straight line, and we stay green for now. We are, though, absolutely...
more trouble up front!
Oh,
car spinning in front of these guys. They don't know who that was, but that is going to trigger a yellow.
Yeah, oh
yes.
My gosh. All right, there's enough to follow there. Let's head back as we were just about to check out the Whiskey Cast replay. We'll take a look here at the Rucker and Tooker incident. I believe it was Rucker. No, it was Rucker and Elam. And then we're going to go back to the cars in front of them and see exactly what happened there. I believe it was the 32 car. So there they
just
get
a
together.
touch. And he does a well of a job keeping that car from any other competitors, but in front of him, Dustin Dewar in the 70 trying to avoid, and here comes the 70 back on the track. He collects Dustin Dewar, who's hard into the outside wall, and the 70 as well. So innocent victims based off them trying to avoid that 64 car, and the 61 gets caught up into it as well. That's Bronson Stafford, the rookie, with an issue. Caution number 2 is out.
So in that one, you have that kind of start with Elam and Rucker who get together on the racetrack. That kind of creates that checkup, and then that causes that collision between the 32 of Dustin Dewar, the 70 of Jesse Razamus, Bronson Stafford, just a innocent bystander, and all of that. It's called a racing incident. I think I can see how that just kind of plays out. A lot of confusion there after the contact between Rucker and Elam.
I agree with that there too. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Unfortunately, you're kind of put in a bind when other competitors have trouble in front of you, and you just needed an inch. Sometimes that's just not given on the racetrack. We have seen that there. Take you back to last week, All-Star race, when Kyle Busch had that issue there. Suddenly, Ross Chastain had to make a commitment, go to the inside or outside. He made the wrong commitment, and then suddenly we've seen what a mistake could do, and magnified, took out Chase Elliott, and it was a big crash. So that, unfortunately, there was the case for the 70 and the 32. And I'm glad to see no tally at least issued to those guys there. But unfortunately, some damage to the race cars as well as the 61 involved. This caution a big break, though, for the 15 at Chad Friggefield as we see some guy hit the cone.
Yeah, so race control might not like that. We'll see if that regenerates. I think it already has regenerated there in the distance, so perfect. I think, where is it? There it is.
Somebody hit it again. Do you get a bonus point for hitting that cone? I don't know.
Maybe. I haven't read the rules on that one, but for Frankenfield, definitely what he needed there. Back on the lead lap here, now in 27th position, behind Mark Keeler, behind Rusty Capel, again outside of that top 25, but crucially on the lead lap here and able to kind of push forward. And I think he might actually come down pit road here, get some more repairs done on that 15 car, get a fresh set of tires, maybe fill it up with fuel, try and go a little bit off strategy. He has that opportunity to do so now. So, yeah, definitely saving grace there for the 15 car of Frankenfield. Do not be shocked if we start to see that 15 car moving back up the order, finding his way back inside the top 15, top 10 even.
Would not be shocked at all if you see the cars that were involved in that issue there all sitting on pit road, electing to repair that damage. That 15 car there, he'll have to start behind these guys on the lead lap there. In fact, I believe the free pass usually starts at the tail end of the line, but as you mentioned there, he is going to be on the lead lap, and that will be great as you see him get work done in tires on that Ford Mustang. The 83, your leader during all of this, and he will be your leader there. I think we'll have at least one more lap, so perhaps we could go ahead and get some sponsor reads out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that here as they begin to grid up. Then we'll start, as always, with our fantastic premier sponsors here at the Elite Racing Leagues. And C2 Freight Resources, as always, offer complete freight management services and are ready to meet your needs today as well as your changing needs in the future. With thousands of qualified carriers in their database, they're capable of handling shipping for every type of good, from perishable foods all the way to office equipment. Also check out their electronic data interchange services, which allow shippers to keep close electronic tabs on all of their shipments throughout the entire freight movement process. We also want to thank Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses. If you're a small business owner, then Blue Egg Marketing is your absolute biggest fan, and they are your personal marketing department. Whatever your constraints are, they help catalyze creativity, and Blue Egg Marketing will help your small business punch well above their weight class. Additionally, we want to thank Powerhouse Recycling. They strive to offer the highest level of customer service in the industry for each load process time and time again. Attainable account representatives, prompt and on-time pickups, and customized recycling solutions keep Powerhouse Recycling as a North Carolina market leader in customer service. Finally, before we go green here, we want to, of course, shout out our fantastic race sponsor, Memory Lanes. This is the final race of the season that they'll be sponsoring. They're in the heart of Athens, Wisconsin. It's a historic building with a modern-day touch. It's a place where the young and old come together, and what truly gives Memory Lanes its character, though, is its owner. You all know the drill, Randy Big Balls Walters. We saw him in the chat here. Welcome, and thank you again for supporting us here at the Elite Racing Leagues.
Yeah, always great to have him on board there, watching a fabulous race so far as we are about to prepare to get under the green flag once again for the third time tonight. These guys are still outside of that fuel window here, so we still will have to see a green flag pit stop there. The 83 back on the loud pedals. A couple of Ford Mustangs lead them down to turn number 1. Nick Massey in front of Scott Crump. He'll actually slice in front of the 90 car to solidify his second position there. Crump now under fire from the 97 of Alexander Van de Sant. Meanwhile, the front 5 now trying to be single file. First double wide action we see is that 64 car and Vincent Isabella in that 12.
Yeah, Vincent Isabella, another one of those chasers trying to make some forward progress right now. Hasn't moved too much from a starting position. Started this race in the 10th position, has kind of stuck around there. Currently runs 10th now as he just lost that position to Jeff Green. Gonna hope that he can maybe find a little bit more of that forward momentum. Trevor Elam, meanwhile, looking to the inside of Jeff Green, not quite there, and Green's gonna slot back into position. We now have these leaders all single filed out. No, we don't, because Josh Adams, Scott Crump, both making a move on Alexander Van de Sant. Van de Sant was strong late in the run here as he runs way up the racetrack. Could be saving his tires right now early on. Could have a very good long run car, so he might have to wait this one out. It's very loose for David Tooker coming off of turn number 4. A lot of action still on the racetrack here.
Yeah, he might have gotten a piece of the wall there. Just briefly, the right rear corner might have touched it there. David Tooker has been trying to hang on. He's been kind of in this spot all race long, marred back in the 10th to 12th position. See Tyler Fody, who had his early trouble as well with the 64 of Andrew Rucker, but has not actually been able to work his way up through the running order. Now these two battle it hard, but these are just barely hanging on inside the top 10 for 9th and 10th.
Yeah, kind of crazy to think about for these guys right now as Tyler Fody makes that inside lane work. We'll see how the run is off the corner. Looks to be okay here as we move back up the running order here. And I think for now, everybody pretty happily single filed out throughout this field. No major movement up until we get just outside of this top 10. Trevor Elam, who just got by Joey Chapman and Rexing now going side by side, and Elam and Tooker now side by side as well. All this happening outside of the top 10 though. And a lot of your chasers, most of them are inside there. That top 10, you've got, 6 of them in the top 9. Then you have David Tooker in 11th, Josh Clark in 14th, and then Frankenfield down in 28th. Again, we'll keep following this 15 car, see his progress up the order, up into 27th now as he passes Michael Massey, continuing to just slowly work his way up the order. A long way to go in this race still, and a lot of opportunities still for Chad Frankenfield.
Yes, he's going to have to compete with those Sky Motorsport Ford Mustangs, though, up front. They run 1-2. Shane in front of Nick Massey. Massey, who comes in here with the basically most wins we've had this season here, and he looks, if we don't get in the next 2 weeks, he will actually clinch that with 3 wins already. You see the 70 car, just your estimate, he was involved in that last caution, going to give way to these guys there. He actually just got put a lap down. He wasn't regrouped with the field and when we went back under the green flag, and so he'll continue to perhaps play a little bit of havoc around these guys that are trying to get around him as a lap car there. But yes, How about that 83 car? Shane, a rookie this year. If he gets his first win here tonight, it would be a big one that puts him inside the championship four.
It absolutely would be, and it would be the first time as well in the past 2 seasons that we've seen a rookie make the Final Four. Just look right behind him to his teammate Nick Massey, who has been kind of the guy this season, but also last season made it all the way to the championship four in his rookie season here in the Cup Series. These Sky Motorsports guys know how to get the job done here. Of course, rookies in the elite racing leagues, but very familiar with these race cars and very familiar, I think, with the rest of these drivers as well. They probably all run together in a variety of other series too on non-Wednesday nights, and you're seeing right here these guys stepping into the elite racing leagues for the first time and really being up to the challenge that this particular league presents.
A great job as well. They're really representing our sport very well. Jared Rexing, how about that 10 car there? Rexing doing a great job as well. Not one of our chasers here, but always pleasant to see him inside the top 10, and he's done a great job well. In front of him, Tyler Fody, though, in that 40, trying to make up ground. And also a car that I want to give a shout out to, who's making some headway there on our reigning defending champion. How about the 38 car of Jeff Green? Jeff Green, he's had at points this season so fast-paced in that race car there, but it's also been a victim of bad luck. Sometimes it's of his own doing, but most of the time just circumstance. But this is a good run for Jeff Green. He's looking to try and battle. He's only one spot outside the top 5 right now.
Yeah, Jeff has been, again, one of those drivers that's kind of, very strong pace-wise, but struggles again to kind of get those results at the end of the races. I think just looking at results this season, I think only just one top 10, or excuse me, 2 top 10 finishes this season. Not exactly what he was hoping for, but what we have seen from him is great starting positions, great pace in that 38 car. Just like you said, hasn't quite been able to get the result altogether. How about that? I just noticed Van de Sant continuing to run that line way different from anybody else. I think we saw this at the World 600 as well. Alexander Van de Sant loves to run the wall there when nobody else is getting anywhere close.
Problem for that there is that he's going to be the only one laying down rubber, and that could take more than just 134 laps. He had 400 of them in the the World 600, excuse me. I don't even know what we call that race anymore there. Some say it's still going on to this very day. But that was, I'm telling you, man, that was, to put on my fan hat for a second, I was able to take my dad to that race there. My dad visited me out here in Charlotte for the first time since I got the job with NASCAR, and it was so cool to have him come around and see kind of what I do behind the scenes and just experience a race. But do you know, Rishaw, that that's my 3rd Crown Jewel event that I've been to? I've been to the Southern 500 and the Daytona 500, and now the Coca-Cola 600. All 3 times that I've been, Denny Hamlin has won.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And get this, that was only the 2nd time my dad and I have been to a race. The very first race he took me to, which was 10 years ago in 2012, we went to Kansas. Guess who also won that day?
Denny Hamlin. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Denny Hamlin fans who are listening, this is your cue to pay for Alex's tickets to every single race of the season.
Apparently so. I like how I just am now connecting the dots here myself. That's to being Denny Hamlin's good luck charm there. He did a great job there. Once again, holding off. That was a terrific race here that we saw in the real world. Another 1.5 mile racetracks, and we're seeing some great racing here tonight as well.
Seeing a massive blink. Oh, he's back on track now. Nick Massey had a huge blink for about half the lap there. Dropped all the way down on our timing screens and is back up here. Looks like it's settled okay again, but we've seen this a couple of times from the 48 car before. Blinking issues. We'll see if they persist. But now they seem to have settled, as it is Terry, Massey, Adams, your top 3, all 3 of them chasers. Terry and Adams both looking for their first win of the season.
Haven't talked much about Joshua Adams as well. This is one driver who I believe is still in search of his first win ever. As well, he's not a rookie there, but he's been oh so close due to the Adam brothers that we've seen here run on Wednesday nights, and that 95 car is looking pretty racy. Caution is out, though, for the 3rd time tonight.
Ooh, a let's take a look and see what brought that one out as we have caution flag number 3 on the racetrack. Breaks up that run relatively nicely for these drivers, and we'll take a look here at the Whiskey replay, and we actually just missed it.
Rusty Capel there getting hooked.
Let's see how this one played out here. So we have Rusty Capel behind Michael Hossack, and let's see who that is on the outside. It's the 15 of Frankenfield. Frankenfield spins it around.
Got a hook to 9. And does he have more damage? We're right on board with that 15, or did he keep it out of the wall? I think he did, but that's not going to help the 15's chances at all of making it into the next round here. This is the worry, Rashad, that I had with this 15 car. Even though he was able to get that free pass, you're marred back in traffic there. But this one, he has clear road ahead of him. It looks like it just bites him.
Yeah.
Did he have help from Michael Hossack in the 24? Was there contact there?
They definitely came together. The question was if one of them came down, or you know, if Frankenfield came down, Hossack came up on the 15 car. Can't quite see it from that view. We'll see if we can get a better picture of this. But yeah, again, for Frankenfield, a bad day gets way worse.
We're hearing net code here, so that could be a factor as well. No tally was issued, but yes, a chaser involved. Our pole setter. Take a look. Yeah, they seem to be maybe, oh, that's hard. That is just 2 guys going hard, and you're right. I agree, perhaps net code, but you're right. They don't look like they actually touch.
Yeah.
And then the 15 just goes around.
And there,
and then Rusty Capel definitely was innocent in this.
Yeah, I think Frankenfield there just loses that rear end a little bit. You're going to see that nose just grab the right rear quarter panel of the 9. The 9 goes flying in the wall. The 08 of Mark Keeler as well grabs a little bit of damage. Also hits that rear bumper of the 15 car. So, yeah, not a great look there. Yeah.
What it's worth, though, the 15, he did a great job saving that race car there. He has more damage now, this time to the left front, but I believe that'll be able to be fixed. You know, yeah. And I don't know how much speed is often taken out of these race cars once, you know, it's not at 100% for iRacing here. Do you ever truly get back the pace you had in that race car there? But he was fast. He was fast enough to get the pole. If he's able to fix that there to where it's perhaps back at 0 or as close to it, we might not see the day done for that 15 car, but it has been a struggle so far.
Yeah, typically in iRacing, and just in general, of course, you know, even if you get all of those seconds of damage complete, the car isn't quite the same. It doesn't quite run exactly how you want it to. We'll see, of course, how that affects Frankenfield. Right now, that 15 car has seen some hits. Obviously, it's going to still run, and as long as I think that engine is still, you know, churning out horsepower, I think Frankenfield's going to keep running that car because every position is going to matter. But it's a tall order now, I think, for the 15. Originally, that right side damage I thought was repairable. You can still run maybe a slightly tighter race car. That's a little bit more there, and you start to get worried and say, okay, he's going to start losing maybe a tenth a lap here, which doesn't sound too significant, but it adds up very quickly. And you know, we'll see. I think he can still maybe recover to be a top 20 finish there. But when you look at the rest of the chasers right now, they're setting 1, 2, 3, 4, 8th, 11th, 13th. And then you have Tate Lytle is actually behind Chad Frankenfield in 28th. We haven't talked about him much, but he's way back there as well.
Yeah, something must have sent him back there because he was inside the top 10. Don't know exactly what there. Maybe he just had a long pit stop there. We assumed during these Whiskey Cat replays, all these guys did go down pit road, take 4 tires, and fuel. This is not, however, inside the fuel window, I believe, doing some quick math there. Oh, actually, they might just be right on it.
You think so? What we've got, you know, 73 laps to go here.
60 to 70 is somebody. If it goes green, I would not be surprised if somebody, you know, late in this run decides to try and save it. Don't know what tire wear will be as well. I assumed, and perhaps Dave could listen in on this and see. I knew we've had 3 sets of tires there. Don't know if that's the same case for this, or perhaps another set of tires as well for these drivers. But It'd be hard-pressed to assume that we are going to go green to the end, but I will say this puts us right on the mark.
Yeah,
If not, maybe 2 to 3 laps.
This will be close here, and potentially helping them is going to be the fact that the lights are still on the pace car. Apparently, race control keeping the field under yellow here after they've already gone 2x2. Drivers out of position, so they're trying to sort that all out. My guess is it's happening a little bit further towards the back, and we're seeing guys kind of flipping up and down the order. That caution must have come out at a strange time for iRacing race control. Once they get everybody resorted, you can see that little bit of disorganization in the back there. I expect we should be going back to green this next time by, as the lights are now officially off on the pace car. We'll see if they stay off as we head around this lap here on 62.
Dane's still your leader. This time he elects to start on the outside. He'll give his teammate. Be interesting to note there. You still get a bonus point of leading in this lap if you are able to lead one lap. That will be a point in your total, and anything can count. We'll see that 83 car perhaps gives a chance to your teammate. Do you do that here, especially in championship formation? What are your thoughts on that there, Rashad?
Sorry, what was that? I was just getting a quick message from race control. Completely missed that.
Oh, I was asking you, I mean, if we see this 83 give the 48 car, does he elect to give him a lap led?
That's an interesting question. They're teammates, but they're also chase competitors.
Exactly.
I think the 83, I think, is very aware of the 48's likelihood of making it into that Final Four. So potentially it's, as much as he's your teammate, stop probably the biggest threat right there running alongside you from getting as many points as possible. But we'll see here. Terrian, pretty early there on the launch, is going to get a reasonable restart, and he's obviously not going to get that one to Nick Massey quite yet, and I think they're going to settle in for now. Potentially that comes later in this race.
See what happens there as we are back under the green flag. Less than 70 laps to go. Vincent Isabella to the side of the 95 of Joshua Adams. He's able to get away and get clear for third place. Adams falling back. The 97 of Alexander Van de Sant doing an excellent job in the 5th position there. It was a little bit of a slow restart, and look behind them. They are 3 wide. Tyler Fody, loose again. He's through the grass. Can he hang on? Tyler Fody, though, with a big slide through the infield. He gathers the car up. He'll lose a ton of positions there, but he won't lose the race car, but he drops all the way back in our running order to 26th place.
Yeah, Fody then, that's going to hurt him big time, and as crazy as it is now, Fody sits as the furthest back of all the chase drivers.
Oh, right in front of him, spinning. Whoa. It's going to be right on the pit road, and it's the 05. He hangs on, and that almost took out that 40 car. That's what your biggest issue is. It's the 5 car. Alec Balvans has to take evasive action. He went down pit road to avoid the spinning 05 car, and that happened right in front of the 40 car. You see, that's exactly why you don't want to be put back in the pack, because you're put in a position where you have to avoid that mess.
Yeah, it's absolute chaos on the racetrack right now as we have another car going around. Who was that? That was Josh Adams?
My goodness. Another chaser in trouble, and this time the yellow flag is out. He went to the infield, and that could help out that 95 car. The field is frozen at the moment of caution, so he might have been saved a couple of positions there as we quickly fall under the yellow flag for the 4th time. Don't know what officially brought that out, but my goodness. Action all over. You would think we're running the Roval edition of this racetrack, the way they were using the infield. Oh, Scott Haney and a big hit to the outside wall.
Mark Rebelas, Richard Hines, I think Razimus caught in that as well, Jesse Razimus. And it was just Scott Haney, I think, just getting loose there, coming off of turn number 4 and slamming back up into that Mark Rebelas car. Let's take a look at this once again.
Free car, right? Yes, that has been the tricky spot, and I mean, that 96 had nowhere to go, neither did the 87. The 70 as well.
But like I said,
when that caution flag came out, I like to see exactly when the caution flag came out versus when the 95 car was happening through the field, he's shown in the 8th position. I'm telling you, that saved him, because by the time he was back up to speed, he would have been well outside the top 15.
Yep, so there's Adams just loose off of 4, just drives it straight down there sideways through the grass. I think about here's where the caution comes out.
Caution comes out, and
lights.
Yeah, you can see everybody else, but the field being frozen helped him out severely. It stopped the bleeding.
It really did. Oh my gosh, craziness right there as we had Adams run through the grass. Bodie ran through the grass. We had those, of course, the big incident that brought out the caution, but we had guys spinning around as well. We had the Robert Hill spin through the tri-oval. The Alec Balvans drive through pit lane. It was just chaos there on that particular restart, and we didn't even probably see everything that happened because we were so focused on a number of smaller events.
Never, ever, ever a dull moment in this JoinAPS.com Cup Series here. It keeps us on our toes. It keeps you at home entertained. And every one of these drivers perhaps scratching their head, wondering why they are inside this race car. But nonetheless, an excellent job as we see, another blink out of that 48 car. He just appeared on my screen there. He wasn't there a moment ago, and that's a problem.
Little bit concerning as there it goes again for the 48. Hopefully that's just under caution. It's not a massive deal, but we've seen sometimes race control will ask the driver to go back. Remember, Nick Massey's actually his very first win in the Cup Series just last season. I believe it was at New Hampshire. He was having these blinking issues, and I remember we were talking about it. You know, are these going to persist, and is this going to stop this 48 from bringing home a victory? Fortunately, they didn't. But we really haven't seen too many of them since then. But right now, coming up for the 48 car, maybe a little bit of internet issues for him. We'll see if they persist again throughout the night. Right now, they're fairly minor. We've definitely seen worse, but you know, who knows how bad it'll get. I do know, you know, speaking from somebody who is also living in the Northeast, I know Massey is close-ish to where I am. We have a massive thunderstorm going on outside, so that could also play into it as well.
I was just gonna say, you know, how often are the drivers impacted by weather that's not on the racetrack here? That's a pretty big deal for these guys as far as iRacing is. You know, we're underneath the red flag usually when we see rain, obviously at a real course, but here, you know, these localized storms there that affect these drivers are, you know, connecting from all over the country there. We could very well see weather impact one of these chasers. You don't want to be a victim to Mother Nature here, and that could be affecting that 48 car with weather in the area hard in the Northeast. You know, I just saw, speaking of the weather, I just saw that it was like 40 degrees in Colorado. It is June 1st. It's meteorologically summer. So thunderstorms I can understand, but 40 degrees, my goodness, that's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, oh my gosh. No, I can't even imagine that. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm complaining that it's too hot, but I'll definitely take that over it being 40 degrees in June. That's a big no for me.
Yeah, I'm never about that life there. I'm so fortunate that Charlotte has had some great, I mean, it's been the 80s and 90s, but I'm a hot weather person. I love the fact that summer is my season to shine. I'd rather much take layers off than put them on, because the cold and the snow, oh no, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm shocked you made it through Colorado winters for as many years as you did.
My mom says that I have no backbone anymore, and I'm just like, no, I still do. I just refuse to be put in that circumstance anymore. I mean, it's June. It's June, and you guys are talking about 40-degree hot. It snowed in some places in Colorado. No, and no.
Absolutely
that is
not.
That is a different story / tangent of which I will not go off on here. We are just past halfway in the Memory Lanes 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. No one's been able to wrestle the lead away from the 83. He's led the most laps here after passing Chad Frankenfield, who's still trying to recover from earlier issues on that 15 car. Sky Motorsports up front, the 83 back on the loud pedal. We are back under green, working racing lap number 71, a side-by-side battle. Scott Crump there going to give fits to the 48 car as they continue to battle for the second place. The 83 off and away. Here comes Vincent Isabella trying to provide aid to that 90 car and push him to second place. Looks like he'll do so on the backstretch, and Nick Massey will fall back to third, perhaps fourth when all is said and done. He's still on the bottom of the racetrack. How about that 12 car, Vincent Isabella? He got to the outside of the 48 car. He almost briefly looked like he was going to get to the outside of the 90.
Yeah, good run there from Vince, and it's funny, we were talking about him kind of sticking around in that top 10 area, and he's kind of shot all the way up the order inside the top 3 now, chasing down Scott Crump. A little bit loose, though, on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to lose a ton of time and momentum.
Yes, and the yellow is out, too.
Oh, no.
Well, after not seeing the yellow flag at all last week, it's returned in a big way here at Vegas. Fifth one here and our third in just a handful of laps. We'll see what happens to bring out yellow number 5 of the night.
I need to see what the cause of that yellow was. I see potentially it's the 5 car of Alec Balvan's being in trouble there, but we'll take a look because I can't quite see any other thing that mentions a crash. So here's the 5 car of Balvan's. Yep, it is a number 5 self-spin. Goes to the inside on the 8. Let's see, grabs the crash there, loses it there on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yep. Passed through the grass, did not work out for that 5 car. Single car spin. He almost came to a stop there. iRacing Control feeling they had to throw the yellow flag there. A self-spin will result in a self-tally for that 5 car. We'll see what happens up front. Now, they have not been on pit road since, I believe, 2 cautions ago. So these guys still have fairly new tires here. And this really works out to their benefit as far as if we get a long green flag run, I don't think we're going to see these guys back underneath the yellow. Now, if on pit road. Now, if the yellow comes out in about 30, 40 laps, I would imagine people taking tires there. But as far as this being a fuel mileage race, I don't think we're going to see that. And in fact, I believe with this caution flag, we might be able to make it to the end.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll see. Right now, it's been kind of trending towards a few more cautions. The aggression level has certainly picked up throughout the field. Guys, I think, are also just struggling with this car. We're starting to see similar issues to what we saw earlier this season, where people just were struggling with the rear end of this car, and that seems to be kind of biting back here so far tonight. 5 cautions, I believe. Yeah, 5 cautions on the night. Hopefully not too many more, but we are just at the halfway point here. And with that, we'll probably step away here for a brief break before we get back to green flag racing, as it looks like nobody's coming down pit road this time around.
Yep. Why not? We'll save our voice, so we'll have it when things get wild. Don't go anywhere. This is the Memory Lanes 200. We'll be back in a flash right here on the Elite Racing Network. Welcome back to the JoinAPS.com Cup Series here live on the Elite Racing Network. The Memory Lane's 200 from virtual Sin City, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The 83 car, your control car on the outside of Scott Crump, Vincent Isabella, and Jared Rexing just behind them. Cleaning up caution number 5 as the pace car is about to duck down pit road. Less than halfway. As we get back under the green flag, it looks like Team Tyrion will get back going. Jeff Green does it though, and he'll stack up that outside line. Everybody has to jump on the brakes. You see Trevor Elam switch to the inside. It'll be a 3-wide situation behind these guys on the back half of the top 10. Jeff Green missed a shift there. Thankfully wasn't run over from behind, but he'll lose 2, 3, perhaps 4 positions when all is said and done. Double wide trying to keep 95 of Joshua Adams behind him.
Yeah,
He's staying under the green flag.
Really hurt that outside lane's, starting momentum. We'll see how those guys end up, over the course of at least these first couple laps. Right now, seems to be that everybody's back in line, back in order, relatively speaking. And right now, you guys just trying to settle for position up front. Shane Terrian defending from Scott Crump, who's cleared the likes of Jared Rexing, Vincent Isabella, Nick Massey. Question is now, can Crump get to the inside of that Terrian car? He's loose there on the bottom of the racetrack, though.
Yeah, he nipped the apron there in a big way. Thankfully, nobody was on the outside of him, but that lost some momentum. Oh, yellow flag number 6 is out.
All right, let's take a look and see what brought out this one. It could involve, just from some stuff that I'm seeing, the 15 car.
Oh, no. I was just going to mention here, the biggest fan of the 90 passing the 83 might be that 15 car there, because that means that we would not have a chaser lock themselves in. We see Wild Trey Holmes. Wild and Tyler Fody! Fody hard into the outside wall there on the start-finish line. Trey Holmes gets loose and collects a chaser, and Mr. Consistency, the 40 car, heavily involved, as well as Chad Frankenfield in the 15. He spins in the aftermath.
Wow, so this all happened. We'll take a look at how this all breaks down. So this is a little bit behind, I think, the main incident that takes place. You're going to see guys spinning. You're going to see the 40 car, I think. There's another incident that happens behind us. There's that racing car, the 15 then. Oh my, there's too much.
Oh, and that's a hard hit.
Yeah.
That is some significant damage for the 15 car.
Way too much going on here. All right.
As well as the 40.
Let's see if we can break down this.
There were 3 different issues happening here on the front stretch. It has been wild here at Las Vegas. Let's take a look and see the 88 car. He gets loose. He overcorrects, and he's hard at the outside wall.
So the 60 also loses it, though, ahead of him, and that's going to come into play after the fact with the Frankenfield incident. So keep an eye out there. The 60 car goes down the grass, but right now we're going to watch the 88 car. He drives up into the 40 of Tyler Fody. He gets sent flipping. Meanwhile, for Tyler Fody, he's now in the wall there. And we'll see if anybody else gets caught up in this one. Looks like it might have just been those two for this initial incident here with the 88 and the 40. And I believe it might have been. All right.
Let's take a look at whoever that was
60.
Behind the 15. Yeah, or right on board with the 60 car.
So let's see if we can find the 60 now of Joey Chapman. So he also went to the grass there. So similar loose condition. So onto the grass. Let's take a look. So there's that big incident there. He kind of slides up the racetrack, loses it. Does he even hit Tate Lytle? Wow. He does. Another chaser involved in that one. Hits the 33
and David Tooker.
Martinez.
Or, excuse me, Daniel Martinez. I thought that was David Tooker.
The 15 that gets caught in a separate incident as well. Hold up. There's more incidents going on here. Okay.
Yeah, Wyatt Canadle got into the side of the 15 at Chad Frankenfield. The 60 went for a spin. And then there was a car in the wall behind them. I wonder if it was the 84 that was just behind. There, yeah, you see that? No, it wasn't the 84, but it was another similar car. Yeah, and the 15, unfortunately, just trying to avoid all the calamity that's in front of him. That was the fear being put deep in the field.
Yeah, that's a hard
Michael
hit.
Goodman, for once he misses one.
so for Chad Frankenfield and Tyler Fode, big damage to those two
And
cars. Huge damage to the 40.
Somebody else there that had hit the wall, if we back it up just one more time, in front of the behind the 15. I don't know who that was, but we'll just slow it down.
Behind the 15, yeah, we'll take a look here and see.
It might have been the 70.
Might have actually been the 08 of Mark Keeler, I think.
Or Mark Keeler. It was a blue and white car.
Yeah, good eye.
Yes, he had hit the wall hard. We were going to have a caution this lap there, Rostov.
Yeah, 66 got the tally there. Interesting. 66 there is, which car is that? Or that might have been the 60 car of Joey Chapman. Not too sure, unless I'm
interesting.
missing.
That's very interesting, considering both the. Okay, I was gonna say both issued. I was gonna say they both had similar situations at the exact same time. But no matter how you look at it, between the 60, the 88, and then the 08, we were gonna have a caution that lap.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was pretty crazy there, wasn't it? And of course, for Chad Frankenfield and Tyler Fode, massive damage, big issues to those cars. Tyler Fode stays out on the racetrack, but there you can see there is no front end on that 40 car, and for Frankenfield, continuing to fix damage on that 15 car. But again, the question is how much pace is still left in that one. It is a, it's been a tough night for these guys.
And for 40, that is the second week in a row he was able to survive Talladega. Remember, I had picked him there, and then my commentator cursed as we get double wide here. He had an issue on the back stretch that did not bring out a yellow flag. Remember, we went caution-free at Talladega last week. He actually finished one position ahead of David Tooker there. He had accumulated enough points to not, let that be a driving factor, but this is 2 weeks in a row that 40 car has had an issue. Highly unusual for Mr. Consistency of what we've deemed him this season.
Yeah, it's been a rough chase, I think, for Tyler Fode as a whole. Consistency has been his thing over the course of the regular season. But for Fode, yeah, to not be able to really pull off the results here in the chase has been, I think, hurting him just a little bit, and definitely not his fault. As we head back to green flag racing, it's just been very unlucky and unfortunate for the 40 cars so far.
Yellow fever has definitely taken over. We'll see if it will subside as we get back under the green flag once again. The 83 car elected to start on the inside this time. That allowed the 48 car to follow right behind him, and now he'll give chase to the 90 car. Scott Crump, who's still to his outside. Crump trying to clear that 48 car. He'll do so, and look who's moved into the picture the first time inside the top 5. That 29 car, Trevor Elam. He is your last week winner, trying to go for 2 in a row. First time this season that could happen.
Yeah, Elam looking really strong right now in that 29 car, running that high lane as, a little bobble on the bottom for Nick Massey is going to give that spot up. So Elam now inside the top 3, and it looks like it's a very competitive battle here for the top 3 positions. Elam already diving to the bottom, taking a look there on the 90, but Scott Crump not quite given that room just yet on the racetrack. But all 3 of these drivers looking very, very racy. And on that last lap, Elam way faster than the 2 in front of him. So, yeah, very intriguing. Actually, that time by Elam and Crump both put in their personal best lap times of the race. So, yeah, look out for these guys. They're trying to put down some bigger laps here, despite the fact that most of these guys haven't been down pit road since lap 58.
Yes, and that's been riddled with the yellow flags that we've seen 4 of the last 20 laps. As I had mentioned there earlier, yellow fever taking over this speedway. But currently the 83, though, in control of this race here, working lap 87 of 134. Scott Crump trying to play spoiler inside this top 5 and be a non-chaser with a win. Something that, here's some trivia here for you. I love trivia there, Rostov. Who is the only driver to have won inside the playoff grid, who was part of the playoff? I'm sorry, let me restart. Who was the only driver to win a playoff race that was not part of the playoff grid of any season since it began back in 2004. And I'll give you a hint. It happened last year.
What happened last year? Oh, was it Bubba Wallace?
It was.
Yeah, okay.
Bubba Wallace, the only driver to win a race that has not been part of the playoff, which I thought was remarkable. You know, I mean, obviously the playoffs are the playoffs for a reason, and those drivers are contending for a reason. But yes, Bubba Wallace, the only driver in real life NASCAR Cup Series racing to win a race during the playoff era that was not part of the playoff grid.
You know, the last year hint gave it away, because I honestly, as crazy as it is, I was going to say Matt Kenseth from 2017, I want to say it was, when he won his last race. I wasn't sure if he was in the playoffs at that point in that particular season.
He was. Yep, he was.
Yep. So, man, all right. How about that?
Glad to see what he called. Well, you got one. I gave you a hint, though. I did give you a hint. I'll have to stop that. That will happen again. How about this there? The 11 under pressure from the 12. We saw a numerical spin in the 600. Don't know if you caught that race there as well. There, but he's gonna get bumped. He gets turned. Jared Rexing hard into the wall. Vincent Isabella, championship contender, upside down in turn 3, and more stack up into it. Wow.
Wow, that came out of nowhere.
It really did. I was just going to talk about these guys, the 11 and 12 in numerical order there, and how we had a wreck play out in the Coca-Cola 600. No more than the words coming out of my mouth than we see the 10, 11, and 12 all wrecked numerically. Wow.
Let's take a look here. So the 11 just gets loose, I think, from a bump from the 12. He goes up, and there you go, 10, 11, 12, all together on the racetrack. The 05 as well gets caught up in that, Robert Hill Jr., and the 12 goes on a ride. Vincent Isabella flips it around a number of times. That 12 car, both of those Lake Norman Motorsports Chevrolet Camaros have seen much better days, both Tyler Fode and Vincent Isabella. That is brutal there for the 12 car. Just, again, caught up in that incident there. And how about that for Michael Goodman? I think just missed another one.
He avoided another one.
Little bit
Man,
of
what might have been had he been able to survive that first round. He had all the bad luck. It seems like it's all been good luck for him lately, especially here.
Might be a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of a hit there.
He got a little bit of 89, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, let's go back to this and see. Was it just a bad bump maybe from between Isabella and
we don't bump draft here, so you have to wonder. At one point, you have to lay off.
Code.
You have to lay off in order to make the corner there.
12 at fall, really interesting. I don't know.
Well, and I was just to me, Rashad, there, you have to lay off. You know. You can't push him into the corner. At some point, he needs to brake in order to make the corner so that he's not hitting the 28 car, his teammate, who I'm sure he's trying to give extra room. And at that point, I believe right there is where the 11 car is on the brake to make the corner. The 12 car is not.
Yeah, that could very well be what it is. I'm definitely thinking more in a larger racetrack type sense. I think maybe it was just the 11 car getting ready for the corner, 12 car reacting just a little bit too late. They were very close together. It didn't look like they officially made contact, but it definitely was a strong push there from the 12 car. I'm sure he's going to be upset about that one. Obviously hurting his chase hopes as well. That
is definitely going to put him. And now we've seen caution number 6 on the board, and this chasers are falling like flies out there. Like, in the past 12 laps, we've had 3 of them here, all with an issue, Chad. Frankenfield, Vincent Isabella, and Tyler Fode, all championship contenders there with an issue currently. Now we're getting to the last, 40 laps, and I believe we're going to start to see some strategy play out. Do you stay out? Do you elect to go down pit road and get fresh tires, you know? Are we going to see these yellow flags? The one thing, once you see multiple yellow flags, is that when does it stop, you know? When are you playing the long game? Do you expect a green flag run to the end, or do you settle into a pattern about, hey, we're not going to get more than 5-10 laps at max before somebody spins out? You know, that's the question on everybody's mind right now as a driver. They're their own crew chief. What do you do here?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit nervous now looking at Shane Terrian, Nick Massey, and Alexander Van de Sant. Terrian and Massey slightly worse than Van de Sant, but those two have not been to pit road since lap 58. Yes, we've had a number of cautions, but still, that is a lot of heat cycles on your tires. Van de Sant hasn't been to pit road since lap 67. Then you have a number of guys behind them who haven't been to pit road since lap 80. So much fresher tires in that sense. Again, maybe not in terms of just overall wear, but heat cycles is an important thing to keep track of. And then you have a number of guys who just pitted on this most recent caution. So all of a sudden, for Terrian and Massey, they're in a very tricky situation. If they can keep it out front, and there's a lot of cautions to the end of this race, they're fine. However, if we get a long green flag run here, I'm very nervous for the 83 and 48. I think they're going to lose those tires way quicker than everyone behind them. And all of a sudden, the guy who was in 26, 27, Tate Lytle, is now sitting in 4th position with some of the best tires in the field right now.
Well, I heard us talking about him underneath the commercial break there about Tate Lytle. And that's just rule number 1. You never talk about Tate Lytle being out of it there, Rashad. We know that I told you he's won the first race of the round 3 of the last 4 times this has happened here. This is shaping up to be right in his hand.
Yeah, that's a very good point there. You cannot bet against Tate Lytle in the first race of a round, and then he's going to subsequently go and DNF the other 2 races. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Exactly. It'll be interesting here. So between the heat cycles, as you had mentioned there, the yellow flag, have we seen the last one? Probably not. I don't know. I don't know what to expect here as the pace car is about to dramatically make that right-hand turn, or excuse me, left-hand turn. I always think it's funny how he just dives on. He misses the commitment cone. Definitely. If he were to get a penalty from NASCAR, it would definitely be because of that.
Here's the thing. He keeps missing the commitment cone, and that's why he's on pit road for so much of the race, is he's just serving that, stop and park penalty, right? That's.
I would love him to be more on pit road there. That would mean we'd have green flag action, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, stewards have been lenient with the pace car, I think, so far today. They haven't been giving him as big penalties as they have been, previous races like Talladega.
That's right. He had the whole day off last week. Gonna get his money's worth this week here. All right, couple of Sky Motorsports Ford Mustangs up front, staying still in front of the 48 car. Nick Massey has not led a lap today, and that's important because he has not had a bonus point being added. Looks like his teammate determined to keep that away from him. The 56 car Tate Lytle has moved into the 3rd position. That is the highest he has been in that Pro Edge Toyota racing car. Oh, trouble! Oh. Scott Crump in the middle of the field. He gets turned, and now more cars are involved.
15,
the 15 of Chad Frankenfield. His teammate gets collected.
Fody involved in that as well. Frankenfield in that. Oh my gosh. It happens again.
I hate to say it. But you cannot have Sky Motorsports, or excuse me, not Sky.
White Lightning, yeah.
White Lightning. I just don't believe these guys. I know they're teammates, but my goodness, every time they are around or somebody has an issue, it becomes. You have to wonder if that was a blinking issue.
It
was, and then the 15. But I have to wonder that had to be out of panic of what he was seeing out ahead, because he comes straight from the apron back onto the racetrack here.
Yeah, let's take a look. This is Frankenfield, and there's no car around him. He just gets loose himself, I guess. Yeah,
he does, but he checks up due to the mess his teammate put him in. Oh my gosh. You thought Talladega was going to be a turning point and talking point amongst these two. How about this that just transpired here right before we hit lap 100? Tyler Fody also involved. More damage, perhaps on that 40 car? No, it looks like he just takes it down pit road.
So Frankenfield with the big damage there. Vincent Isabella, who's off track anyways, he's no longer in this race. So, yeah, it was Fody and Frankenfield were the main ones involved in that. I think Crump, obviously, the big damage there. No other major issues for other drivers from what we can see as we flip back through the cameras. And we'll head back to live pictures. But yeah, kicks off with Scott Crump losing that car, heading off of turn number 4, collects his teammate. That's the biggest news right there. And Chad Frankenfield has been involved in 2 incidents already tonight, involved in his third, and by far the biggest.
And at the hands of your teammates there, I know that's not what Scott Crump wanted to do. It's just unfortunate luck plaguing both those guys, and my goodness, caution number, I believe 9 out on the speedway here. We have not had a consistent lap green flag count since lap 58.
Yeah, it's been a little bit hectic, hasn't it? It's been guys just have been struggling to maintain grip. Was told to check out the 19 cars on board here. So here's David Tooker for this issue. It is 90 at fault, of course, for that issue. Let's take a look at this one on board.
Back end just comes around. Ooh. Wow, Tooker, look at the hands moving. I mean, that is mimicking what these guys are doing. He hangs on. Great drive by the 19 at David Tooker position, as well as Johnny Thomas in the 91. He had to travel through the infield.
Yeah, oh my gosh, these guys having to kind of run all over the racetrack just to avoid incidents going on, and we're just set to tick over to lap 100 of 134. It's taken us a little while to get here. Average lap speed has not been extremely fast at all, but here's hoping that again, we can maybe get a little bit of a long run. Honestly, I guess if you're Shane Terry and Nick Massey, you're very happy with these short runs. You're happy with just pacing to the end of this race here because, again, they have the oldest tires. They have the track position. Why should they want anything to change here with the risk of a long run?
So caution is out here once again. You'll have to wonder, though, if somebody in the back of the field decides to try some new tires, because despite what we're seeing up front, these guys do have a number of heat cycles on those Goodyear Eagles. So as we get set for the green flag, and it looks like the 83 will once again, he'd like to start on the outside. I have to wonder if somebody that's deep in this field is going to perhaps try and take advantage of that. We saw that play out in the Coke 600 there. Austin Dillon came within, I believe, an inch of winning that 500. You saw how fast he was able to clear traffic getting to the Kyle Larson machine before a 4-wide situation did not work out well in his favor at all. But you have to wonder, is somebody that desperate, not desperate, but, someone that smart enough to take 4 tires when it could count the most and get around these guys here? Because no matter what, newer tires on lap 58 versus lap 99, they're going to play a difference.
Oh, absolutely, they are, and we'll see again. If it comes down to a long run, I absolutely think the tires are going to play a huge factor into this. If it comes to short runs, though, I think the advantage that Terrian and Massey get, on that restart, and again, you have to take into account they're probably communicating with each other to go on the throttle at the same time. It's going to be hard for anybody to compete with that in the short run. Give them 5-10 laps max maybe per run, and they'll be able to stay in front. Beyond that, I think suddenly you start to get Van de Sande and Lytle to start creeping up and making moves on them.
We are in Virtual Sin City here. Are you a gambling man? We will find out as the green flag is back out working lap 101. 134 here. The 83 once again clear of traffic. He puts his Ford Mustang in clean air. The 48, his teammate right behind him, Tate Lytle and Alexander Van de Sande trying to give chase as they work to the inside of the racetrack there, side by side for third, and Alexander Van de Sande doing all he can to try and clear that 56 car. It won't be enough. Move Tate Lytle back into third place position.
Yeah, so Lytle, let's see the advantage that he has on tires. Remember, that's an advantage as well between Lytle and Van de Sande. Van de Sande's one of those guys on slightly older tires. Last pitted lap 67, but now Massey and Terrian way older than that as well. Last pitted on lap 58. What does that advantage look like? Lap 80 versus 58. Look at Tate Lytle here trying to set up Nick Massey for a move. The question is, how many laps does it take? And right now we're already completing lap 2 of this particular run.
And he's pinned him to the inside of the racetrack there. He has the outside that's the preferred groove that's been that way all night long. And I'm telling you, Tate Lytle trying to go 4 out of the last 5 first race playoff wins in that 56 car, and this win could be the biggest. It would solidify him once again inside that Championship 4 picture.
That would be huge, especially after the season that Tate Lytle has had. Remember, he kind of scraped into the chase late into the season with some solid runs at the end of it all, but then finally nabbed the win a few weeks back to kind of ensure his way through to the next round of the chase. But it has not been the same dominance that we've seen from this 56 car that we saw last season. So for him to step up here and be showing that level of dominance when it matters most here is all that much more impressive. And for Tate Lytle, that's all that matters, right? It's not where you started the season, but it's if you make the chase, how do you end it out, and how do you play that final race if it comes down to it? Right now, that 56 car looking very strong and running just that little bit faster than Shane Terry in front, despite Terry having that clean air. Lytle now going to have the opportunity to pick a lane and try to go for that move for the lead.
We're talking about a difference of about 22 plus laps between the 56 and the 83. It's not all said and done there, but the 56 definitely has the advantage. As we take a look there just behind these guys, you see the 64 of Andrew Rucker and the 19 of David Tooker. You know, on days where so many of our chasers have had a bad day, it's important to have you yourself a good day. And that's what Tate Lytle is so good at doing. When everybody else, everything else is in calamity, they're that 56 car near the top of the board, if not winning the race.
Yeah, for sure. Tate Lytle, this is what he needs right now. After what has admittedly been a quiet day, kind of shot up the order on that strategy call. Worked out well for him right now. Pace that 56 car. We'll see if he can make a move right now, though. Lap 106 of 134, now 107. The longest green flag run we've had in a little while.
Yes, it has. Don't want to jinx anything here. Don't know what the odds are for these guys. We are in Las Vegas. Rashad, have you ever been to Vegas there, Rashad?
I have a couple of times there. Last time was actually just last summer.
Oh, okay. So, have you ever? Do you consider yourself a betting man? As we can see, the 97 still using that extreme. I call it the Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson line. He is determined to make that work.
Yeah, no,
wow.
He absolutely is. And to answer your question, I am a very low risk type person.
Oh, okay, then I'm sizing you up there because, you know, in a couple of laps here, we're going to have the talk.
I'm waiting for it to pop up here on our screen, and I'm nervous. I don't want to have to make a choice here because there's a lot of options, both good and maybe not as good. But the question is, who survives as well, I think is going to be the biggest question. Oh, no.
We'll see as it flips across there. Tate Lytle trying to give chase against 83 with 26 laps to go. I think I went. Did I go first last time? No, you went first last time.
I went first last time, so I'm giving it to you. Here you go.
Oh man, well I cursed Tate. Who did I pick? Tyler Floating there. He during that green flag pit stop, he had that issue there. So I don't know. Man, the obvious choice might be that 56 car. I mean, it'd be hard to bet against him as we see the 19 of David Tooker work to the outside of the 97. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with Tate Lytle there. I mean, this is his type of strategy call as he works underneath that 83 car. Things are getting quite tight between them and the 48 car. Nick Massey to the inside. Here comes Trevor Elam up to play as well.
Yeah, and that's my pick right there, the 29 of Trevor Elam. Within this top four, he has the freshest tires of anybody. Last pitted lap, oh no! Trevor!
You talked about him! He's in the wall! Wow!
All right, he's still moving. He's still pointing in the right direction. I'm still going to say it. Trevor, you got this, man. 91 was the last time he pitted. The latest pitter of any of these top runners right here. A little bit of damage down to the right side of that 29 car, but I still think you can do it. That's a lot fresher tires than anybody else there. Even Tate Lytle, 11-lap fresher tire than Tate Lytle. So still going for Trevor there. Trevor, don't let me down, buddy.
Man, the commentator curse working in real time there, but Trevor Elam determined to try and make Rashad proud. Hopefully it'll happen with a little bit of right side damage on that Chevy Camaro. Things have settled down amongst the top 5 cars, single file, double wide. Johnny Thomas working his way up inside the top 10. He had started in row number 2 there, that 91, his best start perhaps of the season. That 29 car there, you have to wonder, did he knock a little bit of pace out of that car? That was a significant hit. It wasn't just a brush on the wall. Meanwhile, we did see the 97 as well. He scraped the wall just a little bit, but that was a scrape. He didn't look like he damaged it.
Yeah, no major damage, I think, to the 97. Can't quite see the outside there, but running pretty strong so far. Yeah, the 29 car, that right rear quarter panel, a little bit more hurt than I think he might have wanted. So we'll see if Elon can still come through for that back-to-back win here. But what's interesting is Tate Lytle, despite the fact that this run gets longer and longer, not able to find a way any closer to Shane Terrian. He kind of got close for a couple of laps and then was since then falling back into the clutches of Nick Massey, who again is on those older tires. So the 56, maybe not as much pace as he was hoping in that car, just benefiting from that tire advantage that he had so far today.
And you can see just up the road in front of that 83 car, some lap traffic. We hope that single files itself out there and doesn't play a factor toward the end of this one here. But where these guys catch lap traffic, haven't had to talk about that as much as we've seen the yellow flag. But there's a gaggle of cars right in front of these guys, and I do believe they are going to catch them before this thing is all said and done.
Yeah, no yellow flag there on the racetrack, but yeah, Trevor Elon makes that move on the 48 of Nick Massey, and yeah, they are catching those lap cars at a rate of knots. It's going to be close between these guys. Of course, we've had in chase races lap traffic causing issues in the past. You know, we'll see if it continues to be the case here, but hopefully these guys pick that top lane there and stay out of the way. There's one, there's two. Seems to be good so far. Nicely done by those guys who are a couple laps down. Terrian, Lytle, Elam, Massey all the way by. David Tinker gets a little bit tight there with, I think that's the 05 car, but they seem to do okay either way.
Yeah, with how slow these guys are running there, I would not be surprised if they do not catch them again before the thing is underneath the checkered flag. And you have to wonder if some of these battles that are happening behind the leader, if that causes a yellow, if they're too wide, they catch lap traffic. That could be something that we talk about as well. Now, we don't know about tire wear for these guys. Fuel-wise, these guys could definitely make it here. But we'll have to see if somebody decides underneath the yellow flag, you know, 18, 15 laps to go. What do you do? Is track position key here, or do you think tires will be able to drive you through the field?
I don't know. I think on a short restart track position is going to be key. It's been hard for Tate Lytle in the past. He's had that little bit of a tire advantage, and that hasn't quite worked for him. Trevor Elam has another tire advantage. He eventually got by Nick Massey, but it's been a little while in this run as well. I think if we get a caution at this point in the race, I think everybody's coming down pit road. You've got to. With 17 laps to go, you can't take that risk of staying out. But, man, at this point in the race, if we get like a super late race caution, I could see it going either way now.
We're really good there. There's 16 laps to go on the board. The 83 car has definitely led the most laps here tonight. And that's Sky Motorsports Ford Mustang trying to do something it's never done before, and that is win against the reigning champion, a guy who knows what it takes to get it done. Talk about the dichotomy between the front two right now.
Hell of a race, at least up front. Of course, the cautions have shaken things up a little bit, especially for those chase drivers. But Shane Terrian, since taking that lead, hasn't really looked back, but the positions behind him have been shuffling all over. Tate Lytle, the latest addition to that second place run. We've had Nick Massey up there. We had Chad Frankenfield there for some time. Scott Crump up in there as well. Johnny Thomas there briefly. So a number of drivers have had their shot there. So far, Shane Terrian has held strong and held this lead over the rest of the pack in that Sky Motorsports car. Tate Lytle, 14 laps to go, is going to have to come up with something here if we stay green to the end.
He's searching, though. You see him travel just a little bit higher than what that 83 car is, looking for that run speed on exit of turn 2. It looks like that 83 car has been able to gap him there just a little bit, but the 56 car in search of something different, and I like that there. Why not try something different there? He has fresher tires than that 83. We don't know. Perhaps late in this run, with 14 laps to go, what will that car feel like for Shane versus Tate as they get to the end of this thing here? It is by no means over at all.
Yeah, far from 15 to go here. Shane Terry, though, pulling away from Tate Lytle, and that gap growing ever so slightly lap after lap there. That 83 car, despite the age on those tires, is doing a fantastic job again. Imagine making it all the way to the end here. 80 laps since this car has last been down pit road. It's been a stellar drive so far from the driver here, Shane Terry. The rookie looking for his very first win. Long way to go in this one still, but so far it's been a fantastic run for him.
Pacers as they run. Shane obviously in first place, Tate Lytle in second, Nick Massey, and then Joshua Adams inside the top 5. David Tooker just outside of that running in the 6th position, and then Joshua Clark is in the 9th position. Those that have had trouble. Tyler Fody in the 23rd position trying to salvage something out of this day. Chad Frankenfield and then Vincent Isabella, who had that hellacious crash there in turn number 3 that saw him upside down and out of the race there. That 12 car will need better weeks ahead if he wants to make it inside the championship 4. Coming to 10 to go next time by, you see Trevor Elam under pressure from the 48 car. These guys, though, not making time on that 83 car, who needs to run just 15 more miles of perfect laps in order to get that golden ticket to Iowa.
Yeah, it's going to be all about now picking up positions, trying to grab points, because we all know that at least one of these drivers is going to make it into that Final 4 on points, and so you want to just, every position is a point, right? That's the same philosophy they have in real life, same philosophy we have here in the Elite Racing Leagues, and especially when it's against the chaser, it's 2 points, right? You're taking away a point from them and gaining a point for yourself. So yeah, I mean, you see this Josh Adams right now working the inside of Nick Massey. Massey, that guy on the older tires, but right now doesn't have the benefit of clean air that Shane Terrian does. And Adams now on the inside is going to make that move. Massey now runs the risk of losing his position to David Tooker as well as they go side by side through turn number 1.
Yes, Tooker trying to get inside the top 5. I believe that would be the highest that 19 Pro Edge Racing machine has been all night long. Trying to join the likes of his teammate there, the 56 of Tate Lytle. And I had been mentioning 3 of the last 4 playoff rounds there. That does not include the championship race, of which he did indeed win. So really 4 of the last 5. Trying to go for 5 in a row for Tate Lytle is inside that 56 car of as far as winning playoff rounds, the first race of playoff rounds there in the JoinAPS.com Cup Series. He has his work cut out there. He still is behind. The gap still increasing by about 0.7 of a second there, and laps are winding down here.
This battle fantastic for third place. Adams right now looking like the strongest and fastest car on the racetrack. I don't know if it's too little too late for the 95, but he's now past Trevor Elam, and again, fresh tires there. 91 was the last time he came down pit road versus 80 for Tate Lytle, 58 for Shane Terrian. But he's now still got to contend with Trevor Elam, who runs to the inside through 3 and 4. This battle for third place heating up big time as very tight off the corner between them. But Adams comes out on top for now.
Yeah, Elam, you have to worry about that damage. Is that affecting that 29 car? I believe it definitely most has, as he's now going to relinquish that 4th spot to Nick Massey, and he gets around them. Joshua Adams doing a great job inside that 95 car. He's having a solid point day on a day where he needs to run well. 5 laps to go. My goodness, can you hold your breath there? That's only 7.5 miles there, Rashav. Can you hold your breath?
Yeah, I don't know, man. This has been probably the second longest run of the night. And so I'm very nervous that it's going to come to an abrupt halt, and we're going to have a very sketchy green-white checker scenario with some guys coming in, some guys staying out. It's going to be a little bit crazy there. But right now, everybody seems spread out okay enough. No major issues, and for Shane Terrian, he's hoping that it remains no major issues. There's Chad Frankenfield going down another lap there. Been enough issues for that 15 car. It's been a rough night for sure. But everybody's going to clearly, cleanly get by the 15 car. 4 to go for Terrian, as again, that gap now over Tate Lytle, 3/4 of a second, in terms of length, and I don't think Lytle's going to be able to close that up. Adams might be able to get Tate Lytle, but even then, I don't think think Adams is going to be able to get all the way to Shane Terrian, so Terrian just has to hope to stay green and just keep that car within the lines and the walls here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yes, he's been able to gap Tate Lytle there, as Lytle actually had a little bit of bobble there through the trial there. He's going to be under pressure from the 95 at Joshua Adams. Terrian doing a great job in that 83 car, has led the most laps here today. Hasn't been down pit road since lap 58. Massey, his teammate there, right behind him in the 4th position, as we are about a minute away from perhaps giving the first golden ticket to Iowa here to decide who's going to be inside that championship battle.
Yeah, so
how about
a couple lapped cars here for Terrian to clear, but again, shouldn't pose too much of an issue. They get out of the way nicely, and again, single filed out for the rest of these guys. Here comes Adams for the move on Tate Lytle to the inside, as Terrian is going to get the white flag. 1 lap to go here at the Memory Lanes 200. But great battle going on for second as well.
That great battle for second is exactly what Terrian wants to see in that 83 car, as we are on the final lap of the Memory Lanes 200. A lap that will decide who will be fighting for a championship later on in 3 weeks' time. Terrian trying to do something he has never done before in the JoinAPS.com Cup Series, and that is simply win. Well, this win is going to propel him for a chance for a championship. Out of turn number 4, Terrian can see the checkered flag. That means he will be the first one to score the golden ticket. He gets it done in the Memory Lanes 200. What a great job for that 83 machine. The Ford Mustang's going to victory lane.
Yeah, incredible from Shane Terrian there. Fantastic driving all season long. Kind of burst onto the scene there in the Daytona 500. He's been a contender at every race we've been to, a top 10, top 5 guy. And now nabs his first win at the most crucial point in the season, locks himself into the Final Four, and for back-to-back seasons, we will have a rookie going for a championship here in the JoinAPS.com Cup Series in the Elite Racing Leagues. Hell of a drive by Shane Terrian.
How about that? A rookie there on the back bumper of the car, but a veteran status currently right now schooling the rest of the field here on a place where you needed to have a great run. He did exactly just that. Congratulations there to the Sky Motorsports team. Terrian, we're about to be joined by him in the booth, but what a drive put in by that 83 car. How about our top 3, Tate Lytle and Nick Massey there? 2 of the very best in our sport.
Yeah, I mean, that top 4 right there in terms of finishing order, Terrian, Lytle, Massey, Adams, could very well be your championship 4. Hell of a drive by all of them tonight. There's your race rundown. 8 cautions, 37 laps. So not too bad there. 98 green. We got that nice long green flag run towards the end of this one as well. But yeah, Terrian, Lytle, Massey, especially that top 3. 3 big, powerful drivers who can all very easily come out and win this entire championship. And again, Adams coming into his own late in this season, putting together a fantastic run of results.
First one is always special here, and I can't wait to hear the emotions, the sigh of relief here, and basically how it was to survive what was a carnage-filled night here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We are now in the post-race of the Memory Lanes 200 here, JoinAPS.com Cup Series. Round number 15 complete. That leaves us only 3 races left inside the season here. We are about to be joined by our top 3 here tonight as you take a look at the race results there. Some of the drivers that did not have trouble that are in orange there. You see about 5 of them all having a great job. The other 4 all outside the top 20, and that is going to shake up our playoff picture.
Yeah, it certainly is. And again, only 4 are going to advance. So for those guys who are outside the top 20, Tyler Fode, Vincent Isabella, Chad Frankenfield, a lot to be worried about heading into the next couple of races there. You've got to kind of hope for the best. Auto Club, I think, will be one of our more normal races, is my guess. but Bristol is, I think, a complete wild card for these drivers as well. Bristol, these guys at short tracks can typically be very, very sketchy for drivers, and almost in my eyes more of a wild card than tracks like Talladega.
What? You think these guys are gonna be sketchy at Bristol?
You did
I'm joking.
not. Did you have to do the Bristol 500 night race at any point? Because that was a race and a half. Let me tell you.
Oh, well, is this one gonna be 500 miles? Because
No.
I might be sick that day.
No,
Okay.
this one's 250 laps. This one's 250, but my gosh, we do not need that one again. I think we did that once, and that was a rough night. But in the meantime, we will talk to our top 3 finishers here, and we'll start with our third place finisher here, Nick Massey. Nick, hell of a drive tonight, especially considering the age of those tires by the end of it. You last pitted on lap 58 before running all the way to the end. Obviously, some cautions helped you there, but talk us through that run there and the ability that you were able to still fight back with some of these guys towards the end of that, despite the age on those tires.
Yeah, I was getting kind of worried there because I wasn't going to make it on fuel until all the cautions started flying, lap 80 or 90 or so, that whole stretch there. I only had 5 laps in the tank here finishing. But, yeah, I was kind of surprised because I didn't want to pit and get back there in the mess because it looked like it was a kind of a disaster back there. I didn't know what was going on. But so I was worried about doing that, rolling the dice, and just all about making that last pit stop. And I thought me and Shane were in trouble there when it went green for a while and the tires started eating us up. But they kind of equalized out. And then, I was kind of surprised I was able to kind of hold my own and even pass a couple guys back there towards the end. But good run tonight. I know some of the contenders in the playoffs had some problems, so looking hopefully patted the championship a little bit more here going into the last 2 races.
All right, Nick. Well, same song, but second verse here. You know what it takes to get inside the championship 4 as a rookie there. Your teammate there, Tyrion, doing a great job doing that here tonight. Well, what advice do you have for him? Because that's your teammate you have up there. I just want to know what's going through your mind seeing him party in victory lane, especially for the first time and it being such a big win with huge ramifications.
Yeah, definitely congrats to him. He was working with me on the restarts all night trying to keep us both up there. So glad he held off Tate there and got the win. It's cool to have him locked in. So hopefully I can work my way through these last 2 races and get in as well. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't won it yet. So it's so hard to win. I mean, you can do everything right up until that final race and then just, put in the fence, make one mistake and, your whole championship hopes are taken away. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, anybody in the top 8 can, go out there and win. And, I wouldn't count out guys like Chad and Vincent yet either, even though they had bad nights tonight. And I don't know where that puts Fody as well, because I think he had a bad night too. But yeah, I don't know. Shane's good. I think he's won some championships in some other leagues, but I think he has more championships than me total. But yeah, I don't know. I think he might be the one having to give me advice here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a night from him, but definitely nothing to sneeze at for yourself. But heading on into the next couple of races, does anything make you nervous looking ahead? Auto Club in Bristol, are you feeling pretty confident with that points buffer that you've worked up over the course of the season?
If I can go into Bristol with a good gap, I don't know. Auto Club's not my best track either, but I mean, Bristol's kind of, I would say it's a wild card. I mean, the short tracks, you don't know. I mean, look at Martinsville. I mean, I started from the pits and winded up being in a position to win that race like a month ago. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen there? I mean, there's guys that, have that circled on their calendar. I know Josh Adams is good there. He can go out there and win. But yeah, that's going to be another wild card too. I mean, Chad's pretty smart with the schedule. We had Daytona or Talladega as a cutoff last week, and now we got Bristol as a cutoff in this round. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
All right, Nick, we'll want to give you a chance to shout out anyone and anything you'd like there as a podium finish for tonight's race there. You did a great job bringing it home in third. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, shout out to Shane. I don't think he's going to be able to join you for an interview. He had a destination wedding, and he's playing on a laptop from a hotel room, so he does not have a mic tonight.
I heard he's also on a controller. Is that right?
He is on a controller, so he
Oh
doesn't
my
have to bring his
gosh.
whole wheel. I don't know how he does it. I cannot drive on a controller.
Whoa! Well, the
Jeez.
NASCAR R&D program would like to take that controller back for this win is unofficial until we. No, I'm joking. Oh man, but that sucks. That'll be the second week in a row we haven't been able to talk to our. Well, actually, no, not winner. We
It would
talked
be
to
the
somebody.
second Sky Motorsports guy we haven't gotten a chance to talk to in terms of winning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm so sorry about that, Tom. I still want to call him Tim.
Oh man.
But yeah, definitely congrats to him. Shout out to you guys for on the broadcast. It looked like it was a good race tonight. So, and shout out to Matt Muir for putting together the paints for the team.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again there, Nick Massey, and best of luck in the coming weeks.
All right, thanks guys.
All right, there's your third place finisher, Nick Massey. Unfortunately, we won't get to talk to our race winner. That's that really sucks there. But obviously, shout out to Shane Terrian, who raced that on a controller on a laptop at a wedding destination. I mean, it doesn't get much crazier than that. But either way, we'll bring in our second place finisher here, Tate Lytle. Tate, you gave it your all there at the end. You had a couple of laps to try and get by Shane Terrian. Wasn't quite able to get there, but still have to be relatively happy there with a P2 finish. It does, however, break your streak of 3 straight rounds winning the first race of a chase round.
Yeah, we were going for 4 there. I knew I probably had 10 laps to get by Shane and try and control the air. And just wasn't quite able to get there, and probably wore my stuff out a little bit too much trying to do it to have any chance toward the end of the run. But considering wrecking and qualifying and having to start like 37th, and then we put ourselves on the fence on like lap 2 trying to avoid someone else, and I don't know, it was just kind of a cluster of a race. And I mean, the fact that I even had a chance there in the last 30 laps to win the race, I feel like says a lot about how we were able to kind of rebound our way through the field. We got lucky a couple times, missing a couple wrecks. There was a couple wrecks there that, I mean, that one on the front stretch with the 60, I bet I missed by less than a foot. And then when Vince decided to wreck half the field there in turn 3 and 4, I mean, I don't know how far that was, but it felt pretty close. So had the luck on our side, but also was able to kind of strategize our way up to the top 5, and didn't quite have anything for the 83, but we gave her a good shot.
Well, Tate, it's always interesting there. I think I did say on the broadcast, we can never count you out there. As I mentioned, you had been trying to go for 4 in a row there. That did not include you winning the championship, which would also be the first race round. That would be the final round. But you did a good job there, bringing it home in second on a night where so many other competitors had trouble there. Just talk about how important it is to have a good night there, especially with the next 2 tracks, Auto Club and then Bristol being a wild card coming up.
I mean, with this car, all these tracks are wild cards. I mean, there's not one track that you can really feel comfortable on. I mean, Vegas is one of the more neutral tracks most of the time, I feel like, and it was wrecking loose the first 4 laps of a run. And I think you guys probably saw that tonight with some of the cautions. Guys just losing it off of 4 and off of 2. They get a little too much wheel in it, trying to get a little too much too early, and it would snap loose on them. And so I don't know. This car, it's still a work in progress, I think, but it's not very comfortable. So I think that I don't know. Let me look at the points real quick. It probably gives us a pretty decent buffer there. Actually, no, it gives us 4 points of a buffer. But we gapped a couple of those guys that would otherwise be a pretty good threat, and we're able to jump a couple guys as well. But it looks like I'm going to be 4th with a 4-point buffer if I'm doing the math right. So,
yep.
I mean, we're still going to have to go into these next 2 races and at worst finish probably top 5 in both. I feel pretty good about Auto Club. It's one of my favorite tracks. And then Bristol, I think we led over 100 laps there last season and lost it on a pit road call. So I feel good going to both those tracks. I think that it's 2 of my better tracks, but also with that being said, Chad, I felt like had the field cover there in the short run, and I don't know what the heck happened to him tonight, but he was pretty beat up those last 50 laps. So, I mean, you can't take anything for granted. We still got to go out and do what we can and see if we can't go for 2 in a row. But before you guys kick me out, I just want to shout out Brent Wentz, Days Gone By Vintage Racing Apparel. I know Brent was up in Indianapolis this week spotting for Callum Ilott. They had a a rough race, but I doubt he's listening. But if he is, shout out to him. Go check his Etsy page out. Shout out to JD Designs, Jonathan Smith. He whipped me up this American flag car for Memorial Day weekend. I think I ran it last week at Talladega and then again this week. Cool to represent the colors that we all, for the most part, there's a couple Canadians in there, but colors that we all love. And shout out to, I think my dad's probably still watching. It's getting close to his bedtime. A shout out to Dad for watching. I know he probably didn't have a whole lot to watch there until about 40 to go. So cool that he takes the time to sit there and watch me race fake race cars. So shout out to him and little sister Louise, if she's around. I doubt it, but shout out to her if she's within striking distance of the TV. But thank you guys for watching us race fake race cars as well. I don't know how I don't know why you guys do it, but more power to you. We'll catch you next week at Auto Club, and hopefully I'll be one slot later in the interview process.
Absolutely, man. Well, we enjoy watching you. That's why we do this, and always give us a good interview after the races as well. But best of luck over the course of the next couple weeks, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Tate Lytle, your second place finisher there. Pretty hectic race there, and like you were saying, Alex, for those chase drivers, those 3 chase drivers, they're in a little bit of a hole for sure, but definitely not something they can dig out of. I think there you saw the live reaction from Tate Lytle, realizing he's only 4 points clear of Tyler Fode in the 5th position. Frankenfield currently sits about 20 points away from the cut line. Isabella already sits about 30, what is that? That's 35 points, I believe, from the cut line. 37 points from the cut line. So those are some big gaps, but yeah, still very much all to play for between Lytle, Tooker, Fode, and Adams. I think are going to be those guys right at the cut line for the next couple races.
And all those can be remedied by one solution, by winning. So it's definitely not over yet there for these guys at all. Some of these top contenders having some trouble here. That's what's going to make the next 2 weeks very exciting. Shame we could not talk to the 83 car. As you mentioned, they're our second Sky Motorsports. We'll just have to have a team communication there, or maybe, I don't know, Nick Massey can get them on the phone and we just three-way or something like that. But congratulations there to Shane here, doing an excellent job on a controller, no less. R&D still wants to talk to him, but we'll figure that out. He's our first championship contender that has solidified himself into the final round at Iowa, where we'll be talking about a championship here in 3 weeks' time. But right now, we have only 2 races left in this round of 2, Auto Club and Bristol Motor Speedway. As you take a look at the race results there, final thoughts there, Rashad. I mean, this race was a crazy one. It seems like anything that could happen usually does happen at Las Vegas, but even this one there, for a gambling man like myself, I don't know if I would have taken the risk that some of these drivers did. It did not pay out for them.
Yeah, it's a crazy race, wasn't it? And, I think it's just going to get crazier over the course of the next 2 weeks as well. Bristol, I keep looking at Bristol, and that scares me more than Talladega. It honestly does, both as a driver and as a commentator, because I think it's going to be a long night in the booth. But I think for the drivers, they have a lot to worry about as well. So
there's a lot on the line there. I am 10-4. I hear you loud and clear there, buddy. We'll figure it out. We'll be in that together there for the long haul.
Actually, no, I'm skipping town on you for that one. So.
Oh! Well, there you go.
That out beautifully.
Wow. He graduates one time and suddenly he thinks he has the rest of his life to just leave me behind. I see how it is.
So now I know why he switched with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, have fun with Bristol there, Dave. But yeah, no, a lot to look forward to in this round, and I for one just can't wait for us to get to that championship finale and see who those 4 drivers are. We now know that one of them will be Shane Terrian, and to find out the other 3 is going to be an exciting process.
Definitely, and one you will not want to miss here at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, always on the Elite Racing Network on YouTube and Twitch. Congratulations to the 83 car there, the Memory Lanes 200 in the books here at Las Vegas. You don't want to miss the next chapter. It is sure to be an exciting one where we take on the 2-mile Auto Club Speedway and figure out who the next person will be lucky enough to punch their ticket into the championship round. But from all of us here for the Elite Racing Network, so long from Las Vegas. We will see you next week at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time at Auto Club. We'll see you then.